AI, machine learning, deep learning. You've heard these words everywhere, right? And a lot of the time, people use them like they all mean the same thing. Well, let's get into it because they don't, and we're going to clear up that confusion for good. So, here's the big question. Are they all just buzzwords for the same concept? If you've ever felt a little fuzzy on this, you are definitely not alone. It's probably one of the most common mix-ups out there. And the short answer is nope, not even close. They are absolutely not the same thing. And honestly, once you get how they relate to each other, you've pretty much unlocked the key to understanding all of modern AI. So let's solve what I like to call AI's identity crisis. The whole point here is to give you a simple way of thinking about this so you never get them mixed up again. And to do that, all you need is one simple mental picture, the three-circle rule. Seriously, if you just remember this one visual, you'll be golden. Here it is. Just picture those Russian nesting dolls. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the big one on the outside. It's the entire field. Then, nestled inside of that, you've got machine learning. It's a part of AI. And right in the very center, the smallest doll, that's deep learning. It's a part of machine learning. And that means this whole relationship only flows one way. Anytime you're talking about machine learning, you are, by definition, talking about AI. But, and this is super important, not all AI uses machine learning, and we're going to see why in just a sec. And that same exact logic goes one level deeper. All deep learning is a type of machine learning, but there are tons of ways to do machine learning that have nothing to do with deep learning. See? This hierarchy is everything. Okay, now that we've got the map, let's unpack these layers one by one. We'll start from that big outer circle, AI, and work our way right to the middle. So, artificial intelligence, at its heart, is a really broad idea. It's the entire science and goal of trying to make a machine do something that we would consider, well, smart. It's the what we're trying to do. And this brings us right back to that key point. Not all AI actually learns. The very first AI systems didn't learn at all. They were basically just giant, complex programs that were incredibly good at following a very specific set of rules that a human wrote for them. This is the perfect way to see the two paths to making something smart. On the one hand, you have old-school, rule-based AI. You literally tell it what to do. If an email contains the word lottery, then you will mark it as spam. It's a direct order. On the other hand, there's machine learning. You don't give it orders, you give it examples. You say, here are 1,000 emails that we know are spam. You go figure out what they have in common. It finds the pattern itself. It learns the rules. And that leads us to circle number 2, machine learning. If AI is the what, then machine learning is the how. It's the technique that allows us to achieve AI, not by writing millions of if-then rules, but by letting the machine learn from experience, or to be more precise, from data. You know, the absolute best way to think about this is to imagine teaching a little kid how to tell the difference between fruits. You wouldn't hand them a textbook on botany, right? You do something way more intuitive. First, you just show them examples. You point and say, this is an apple. This is a banana. Again and again. Over time, their brain starts to pick up on the patterns. You know, apples are kind of round and red, bananas are long and yellow. And then the magic happens. You show them a brand new apple they've never seen before, and they can correctly say, apple. That whole process, learning from examples to make predictions about new things, that is machine learning in a nutshell. So what about that tiny little circle in the middle? Deep learning. Think of this as machine learning on steroids. It's a much more advanced, much more powerful type of machine learning that uses structures inspired by the human brain called neural networks. Because these networks have many layers, they're called deep. Now, deep learning needs two things, a ton of data and a ton of computing power. But what you get in return is incredible. It's amazing at making sense of really complex, messy stuff, like images, voice, and language. For example, when it looks at a picture, it doesn't just see pixels. The first layer might see simple edges. The next layer combines those into shapes like an eye or a nose. And the next layer combines those into a full face. That's why it's the champion for tough jobs like image recognition or understanding what you're saying to your phone. So why does any of this matter? Because machine learning is the fundamental breakthrough that made the AI you see and use today a reality. It's the engine that powers basically everything. Let me put it plainly. The AI revolution we're living through right now, it's happening because machine learning gave us a way to solve problems that were simply impossible with the old rule-based approach. Machine learning is what gives AI the ability to get smarter over time. It's what lets it handle messy, real-world data like your voice or a photograph. And it lets AI figure things out on its own, without a human having to write a rule for every single possibility.
And to really make this hit home, just think for a second about what your day-to-day life would look like without machine learning. That recommendation engine that knows exactly what movie you want to watch next, that's powered by machine learning. That voice assistant in your pocket that actually understands what you're asking, yep, machine learning. The incredible research happening with self-driving cars, you got it. It is woven into the fabric of our modern tech.
All right, that was a lot to take in. So let's boil it all down to one final, super simple takeaway that will make all of this stick. This is your cheat sheet. Just remember this. AI is the overall goal, the big idea of making machines smart. Machine learning is a specific method we use to get there by having them learn from data. And deep learning is an even more specific and powerful technique inside of machine learning. It's a simple flow: goal, method, technique.
So there you have it. You've totally nailed the what, the real difference between these three game-changing ideas. But that's just scratching the surface. The real question is, now that you know what they are you ready to find out how they actually work? We'll save that for another time.